I was shocked. He bought me a house. He took me there and wrapped me in a hug. This is where we'll spend our lives together, he said. Grow old together. And when I asked him why, he winked at me and said, that's how we do it in India. Exerbia. Buying a house matters.
Innovation. What it isn't is something that happens step by predictable step. It doesn't always stop at the lights. Sometimes it goes backwards to go forwards. It goes up blind alleys. It zigs and it zags. It wiggles and then it lets rip. Your job is simple. Just give it the right environment.
BP, one of the world's leading energy companies, has a 100-year relationship with India. Now, there is new energy in this partnership. With 40,000 crore rupees invested in lubricants, petrochemicals, oil and natural gas, we are the largest international energy company here. We will continue to develop talent, deploy advanced technologies, and safely deliver energy. BP in India. There is energy in this partnership.
All right, let's get you another perspective on the markets. Manu, Director and CEO of Centennial Asia Advisors, joins us from Singapore. Manu, good to have you on the show. How critical are the events of the fiscal cliff in December, and how would it impact the view in emerging economies like India and China into 2013?
Well, there are intensive negotiations going on, and every day there's a change of mood in the markets. But this is typical of the last phase of negotiations, when each side pushes, their case as hard as possible in order to extract the greatest benefit from the negotiations. I think it is quite clear that neither party is in a mood to risk actually going over the cliff. So I suspect that there will be a deal. At minimum, there will be a deal to buy some time. So you avoid the cliff, but you kick the can down the road. At best, you might get a much more fundamental reform of the fiscal system, which is what you need. My sense is that it is going to be more kicking the can down the road for about 6 months, and then into next year, sometime the third quarter or something, that's when you get a real resolution and a clearer sense of the medium-term fiscal trajectory.
What's your outlook on India? Most foreign brokerages are now reiterating their stable outlook for the economy. Do you agree with that stance?
I think the critical variable in India is really business spending. Business spending took a hit because of loss of confidence. Loss of confidence because of a lack of reforms. Loss of confidence because of all these issues to do with corruption and inadequate regulation of certain sectors. Now, the government has started to address that with its flurry of reforms. I think there is some stabilization in business confidence, and I suspect we could see some improvement there, although not a huge one. So I think that the economy will still manage to grow by about 5.5% to 6%, but really India should be growing by 9% if it could get its act together.
In your view, what are the key growth drivers for the Indian economy? Are interest rate decisions the most watched for where the economy is concerned, or policy initiatives?
Well, I think interest rates are important because you do have an inflationary problem, and that needs to be tackled. I don't think businesses, although they may say differently in public, but I think all business groups probably want inflation under control as well. I don't think interest rates up or down 50 basis points will be the key issue. The key issue is really business confidence, and as I say, that is a very political issue. If the government continues its push to keep introducing reforms and keep pushing the reforms despite the political pushback, if they can do something on the fiscal side, they need to bring the deficit to GDP ratio down, well below the 5.6% that is projected. If they can make some progress incrementally over time in these areas, I think business confidence will return.
What's the view on the rupee then over the medium term? Do you see it depreciating further against the dollar, given the fundamental factors that are stacked up against it?
Yes, over the medium term, I think in all likelihood, Indian inflation will be much higher than the inflation rates of its trading partners, and therefore the Indian rupee would have to adjust down to reflect that. Until they get inflation under control, I think the rupee will tend to be on the weaker side.
How do you map risks then in Europe as well as the US?
Well, in Europe, I think enough has been done to probably prevent extreme scenarios from unfolding. Default by a major economy, not Greece, but one of the bigger ones. I think those problems have been dealt with. Now, the issue is that fiscal austerity is doing two things. It is firstly causing a slowdown in the economy, and it's secondly creating a huge political backlash. Now, these stresses, the economic stress of unemployment and so on, and the political stress is, I think these two things will create more headwinds for the Eurozone in the next year or so. So I see episodic periods of stress hitting emerging markets every now and then as a result of something going wrong in the Eurozone. In the US, for sure, whatever they decide on the fiscal cliff, there is going to be significant fiscal consolidation starting in the first half of the year. Therefore, there will be a slowdown in the US economy in the first half of the year. But I think towards the end of the year, the other things that are happening in the United States economy, the improvement of credit conditions, the stabilization of the housing market, and the small but powerful, incrementally positive movements in the labor market will all come through to push the US economy to a higher phase of growth.
All right, Manu, we leave it at that. Thanks very much for joining us and giving us your perspective on the markets. We'll take a short break on that note. When we come back, get you a quick update on BNS and the stock game.
I'm just brushing up on my Hindi because star cricket ab Hindi mein.
इंडिया वर्सेस इंग्लैंड तीसरा टेस्ट मैच 5 दिसंबर से हिंदी में सिर्फ स्टार क्रिकेट पर।
जो बात हिंदी में है किसी और में नहीं।
Hare, how are you? I'm fine. We've met before, remember? Actually, my glasses is broken in now. Murugappa? Pariagro, also from Murugappa? Yes. They make superb chai. Can I have some too? Why not? Thank you. You know, my mother's sister husband neighbor.
Bet we've met. Murugappa.
Increase your playing field. Introducing BSE 100, India's most broad-based derivatives traded index.
You don't choose your family. Anju, Mary and Ronan are God's gift to me. Buying them a house was telling them, whatever happens, there's a warm home waiting for you. To make your memories, build your future, and to feel safe. Exerbia. Buying a house matters.
Happy birthday! Let's take a picture.
You say I do, I say it can't stop. You say we do, I say see I. You say we kiss.
Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Incredibly creative.
right, get you a quick update on BNSN, the stock game, and how things are stacked up there. Siddharth Chatterjee is in the #1 spot, followed by Ashish Kapoor and then Gaurav Ratnaparthi. The turnover in today's session, and this is a record turnover, 3,90,000 crores. Suffice to say, 4 lakh crores almost at that. 19,000 coming in from just NSE cash and about 3 lakh done on futures and options. Let's get in a quick perspective from Poonam on the Q2 GDP numbers that are slated to come out tomorrow. Poonam.
Well, Tanvi, we expect the Q2 GDP at 5.3% versus 5.5% in the last quarter. Again, in terms of the consensus range for the forecast, it's 5% to 6%. Speaking about the internals, the agri output is going to remain a little lower because of the poor calf production, as well as the manufacturing output is really going to be weak. Mining output is going to be slightly better than the last quarter, and electricity output would be strong. In terms of the services sector definitely has been impacted because of a poor industry growth, but that is the only sector that is really holding up the entire GDP out there. Again, the cement and the steel output has moderated in the second quarter, and hence the construction segment output would again decelerate. Overall, in terms of the pace of growth of the gross fixed capital formation, that is going to remain weak. In terms of the future outlook, FY13 GDP is expected at 5.5 to 6.5%, and hopefully this is the quarter wherein the growth really bottoms out. Over to you.
Okay, thanks for that, Poonam. With that, of course, we come to the end of this edition of Closing Trades. Thanks very much for watching. Tomorrow is going to be an important day. As Poonam pointed out, all eyes will be on the Q2 GDP numbers. Track that and more for you. But for now, I'll wrap up Closing Trades. More news and updates continue on the channel, so stay tuned.
Before you realize, your loved ones will grow. What about your money? For incredible investment opportunities, talk to SMC. MoneyWise, be wise.
Is life measured in trophies? In frequent flyer miles and miles per hour? In business brunches and timeline crunches? In round tables and corner offices? Or is life also measured in the lives we touch? Be remembered for good. Seagram's 100 Pipers, pure music, true legend.
This week on the Leaders of Tomorrow series, the spotlights on electrical and electronic sector. Catch the outstanding successes of LK Telelinks, Relimac Technologies, Consul Consolidated and Soft Hard Automation.
We are looking to further expand our service and support infrastructure.
We have grown into 115 crores assets.
Next 5 years, we are expecting to grow 3-fold.
Watch Leaders of Tomorrow, episode 14.